the symphony of life where our hearts entwine. Love, family, and faith in every line. From kin to companions in the moment so rare. We pluck the heartstrings with the stories we share. About faith, we talking about friends, we talking about family. We talking about life, we talking about love, we talking about our heartstrings. We talking about faith, we talking about friends, we talking about family. We talking about life, we talking about love, we talking about our heartstrings.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Heartstrings, where we are fine-tuning the strings of life. The seasons of life.
Absolutely.
I was going to say that. Hi, Wes.
Well, that's a funny thing because we are going to talk about some seasons today. It's almost spring, and this Chicago weather, good Lord. Mm-hmm. It's like, I think yesterday it was sunny. We're all out, and, some people were out in shorts. I'm not going to say which group of people.
Don't. Mm-hmm.
But they were somewhere out there in shorts, Mm-hmm. But then today it's like it's freezing again. It could snow, but, that's Chicago. That's what we do.
It was snow flurries out today.
Was it?
Yes.
Wow.
I don't know how you missed it.
I didn't see it. But, that's some seasons in Chicago, But I do like spring. You can tell spring is coming. What do you think?
I used to love the season of spring because you were such a nicer person.
Why you say that? I don't know. Yeah, that's a good. Why do you say that? I didn't know that. Why do you say that? Why was I a nicer person? Or what did I do that was nice? You're nasty, Neesha. That's all I got to say.
I'm not saying anything
She's
like that.
nasty.
I didn't say anything.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Truth is that when the dark season of winter was over in the Midwest, you were just lighter. I think it's everybody though.
It is. I think during the winter you got less light, less rays from the sun. I think people go through depressions more so in the winter. They're not as happy and bright. And then when the summer, springtime comes, it's like you get revitalized. Like a new burst of energy comes.
Yeah. We're probably like a plant. Because you know what I mean? The plants have died off and into nothingness. And then right around the break of spring, here comes the tulips or the leaves sprouting and bursting through. And I feel like that's a little bit of like human personality. That's my opinion. That we kind of take a moment to really kind of say, you know what? What's new on the horizon? Like a sunshine. I've got sunshine.
I knew it was coming. Here's that song.
On a cloudy day.
So let me ask you this question then. So everybody goes through seasons, through whatever they're doing, seasons in their life. What season would you say we're in right now? What do you say?
Well, seeing as how I like all the seasons because I like stuff to. I like to have something to look forward to. So I feel like when everybody asks us about how's retirement, it would be nice to say we're in a full season of retirement. But I would like to say that we're in a spring season. And the reason I say that is because although we are not fully 100% relaxing and doing nothing, which I don't think we ever will do, I still feel like that winter season is over of the grind as we know it. And then now I do believe that we still have some pruning to do. You know what I mean? Like you got to till the ground. Like our landscaper sends out that list of all the things that cost $1,000 to be able to prep so you can have a beautiful lawn in the summer. I feel like although we've grinded through the winter and the fall and all of that, I feel like our season is the spring because at least we have something to smile about. I mean, I literally don't feel any pressure every day to get up and be stressed about the things that I'm doing right now. I look forward to the times where I could kind of like relax and go on vacation, but still I look forward to the work I'm doing. So I don't know, and it doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel the same. So I feel like we're both in that spring season. You're working because you want to do some part-time. I mean, don't grunt no minute.
It's not part-time if that's the only thing you're doing. Well, I guess it is part-time.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
because
not we used to call them side jobs.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I got a side job to do. But it's not a side job because it's not on the side of anything.
It's not on the side. Exactly. So it's not part-time, really, I guess, either.
Well, it's part-time because I don't
Right, like
I don't
today.
know if it's not really, when you, an entrepreneur, it's not really part-time.
Okay.
It's just you do it when you do it, and when there's work, you work.
Right.
When there's not, you're not. You
Right.
don't.
So I do feel like, do you feel like we're in the spring?
So I was actually going to say the same thing. I think we're in the spring for me, in the season of spring, because, and I'm going to explain this like this because I'm going to break down what I think all the seasons mean and how you prepare for each.
You educate me every time we do this podcast. It's wonderful.
Well, you got to answer these too because I want to know what you think too.
Okay.
So for me, the season of spring is where you start sowing and you're planting. So I think that everything that we're doing now, we're planting things. We're sowing this podcast. You've started project managing for your credit union, and they've hired you to do that. And then
not early hire.
we're kicking off the coaching and making the new websites. And well, they hired you, they contracted you, whatever it is.
It's volunteer.
Okay, you're working it, whatever it is.
Okay, it feels like work. It's volunteer, but go ahead.
So that to me is where spring is. You're planting things, you're sowing them into the ground, hoping for a harvest later because you're not really seeing the benefits of these things right now.
That's so good.
So it's a new bright thing. What do you think? You kind of think the same thing about spring? Is that what it means?
I think I like the part that you don't know what's going to come up, but you're just trusting that it's going to bring forth a great harvest of a beautiful green lawn, and green meaning money. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you're not kidding.
No, I mean I'm using the analogy of green grass, but I feel like
we are planting and planting things for the future because
and really expecting God to give the harvest because man can't give a harvest like God can. He can open up doors and bring things, and you're like, where did that come from?
True.
Like those checks in the mail I look for all the time.
Every day you're in the mailbox
thinking there's a check going to come.
but yeah, it is. But I think you absolutely somebody used an analogy which I thought was a great analogy. It's like when a man plants a tree, he's not planting it for himself, but he's actually planting it for shade and protection for generations to come. And that's a deep thought right there. That goes beyond a little bit past spring, but you're actually planting something that you will never benefit from.
Yeah, and you know what else is, that could go a step further, but while you're saying that, I was thinking about how, you watch movies or you see documentaries where people don't cut down a certain type of tree because it has legacy, it has roots, it has history, but also we are quick to cut down something that's going to destroy our house. So that season comes where the tree has grown so much where it's starting to overshadow the house. And then the raccoons or the adversary can come and destroy.
Because you gave them a way in?
You gave them a way in.
We did have to do that. I'm gonna just move this.
So sometimes you do have to prune your trees. Sometimes you may have to cut off some branches that are not going to benefit you in the long run. It don't mean you have to destroy the whole tree.
So pruning is a whole nother. So who said they had a dream about pruning? Was that one of our kids?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I think it was Danielle. She said she had a dream about pruning, just cutting away the dead things. Any good gardener who plants, or even whether it's for food or for flowers, one of the most important things they'll do is they'll prune, cut off those leaves because it's wasted nutrients trying to feed a dead branch.
Wow.
So that's why they go in there.
That could be a whole...
That's a whole, man.
But it does have to do with the season of spring. And I think that, because if we went into fall, it would be like preparing for the winter season. But right now, we are coming out of the winter and we're going into, what do we want to see? So many things like business is coming to me in regards to like quarter one, Q1, Q2, and we're in Q2 where the spring is. And I do believe spring also brings about people's tax returns or tax payments in our case. Just in general, just thinking about how there's a harvest if you planted well. There's a harvest if you prepared for the winter last season, and now you'll see the benefits even of the spring of what you did before the winter season. Do you understand
That's
what I mean?
good. So let's get into these other seasons.
You don't
because
like my
that's
deepness?
Good. I do, and I want you to continue it. But you were going to get into winter, and I want to do winter last because that was good about winter. So after spring comes summer.
Summer.
So for me, summer is work. Let's go back to spring. Have you ever heard of wrapping a tree? I think they call it wrapping, where when like in an apple orchard or something like that, they will actually go and beat the bark of the trees with a stick. And what that does is it kind of breaks the membrane of the bark, and it tells the tree, oh, something is wrong. I need to send up extra nutrients. So it'll start pumping in extra nutrients, and it'll make the blooms even that more. And they go and they wrap the tree. It's got a name. I don't know. That's just
I have never heard of
unimportant fact for nobody.
It's really not an unimportant fact. It's actually education. I said you always educating me every time we get like Wes has. You have watched so many Discovery channels and History channels, and I'll tell you could be on Jeopardy.
Good, because I want to talk about something later.
Oh, Okay.
So if we live in the Midwest, you need to tune into this part. Stay tuned for that part because
okay.
It could freak you out in a minute.
Okay.
So let's go to summer. So summer to me that's the time where whatever you have planted and started, you have to keep it watered. You have to keep it fed. You have to keep it keep the weeds out. So that's the hard work during the summer. You're out there in those fields and we're plowing it. We're making it better, preparing, and you still technically have not seen a harvest yet. You haven't seen maybe some sprouts growing up. Just a little bit of glimpse of hope that whatever you have planted is working. But you got to keep feeding it. That's not the time to rest. That's not the time to sit back and chill. And that's kind of what summer means. It's going to be a little bit of work. Although, you can enjoy yourself in the natural in the summer. That's what everybody tries to do, vacations and do some outdoor things like that. But it is a time. That's why, here's another unimportant. That's why in the Chicago area, the kids were off in the summer to help with the farms and things like that. Not necessarily Chicago, but just in general. It's like, so now what is the purpose of kids being off all summer? It's like we don't need a 2-month vacation for these kids. They need to be in there getting educated. Give them a 3-week break or something like that, and maybe extend the winter break when they probably really need it. Give them 3 weeks in the winter, and have these kids back in school early. Maybe all June and back at the end of June, something like that. Just a thought. I know that was like really random, but go ahead.
It did kind of go into a different space, but I want to say I wanted to say that a lot of kids would hate you right now. Anyway, if I was a kid,
a lot of parents would love me.
That's probably true too. But what I was thinking about with the summer, how with our own lawn, if I see one dandelion pop up, oh my God, I'm having a heart attack. I'm like, I thought he did the weed and feed. I thought he did exactly what we needed to do to see that. And I think that sometimes it's like that when you're expecting that summer ease season of just being able to relax and just enjoy life. And then here comes some demonic weed.
Do you really hate these weeds?
I hate weeds. I hate weeds. They come in a what do you call it? Hold on, give me a minute. A disguise of a flower with a fluffy white, and it's doing nothing but killing. And one is going to bring another one and another one, another. Right. As it flows more seedlings of weeds.
I got a question for you. Go ahead. You finish that thought? Then I got a question for it. So what happens when you just cut it or break it off on the top?
You didn't get it from the root, so it's going to keep growing. It's going to spread. That is so ugly and disgusting right now. I despise weeds. I despise anything that's going to try to choke out the healthy of the grass. So the healthy of my season, that's why the Bible does say, guard your heart with all diligence, because out of it flows the issues of life. Because if you don't guard it or garden it, then you won't have a beautiful summer. That's all I got. I really pay attention to that. However, there is a part of me that is looking for the snow in the summer, because time has proven that in the Midwest, anything can happen. You know what I mean? And even if it's not snow in the summer, it could be like a hailstorm to come beat up your car. You know what I mean? Unexpectedly.
Yeah, like the one they had in Texas.
Right. I mean, you know what I mean? And that's damage on steroids. So you just have to be mindful to be prayed up. You have to be mindful to be girded up no matter what season you're in. So summer, yes, the beauty of it is all there. But I think life's challenges have kind of proven to me that it can be hard even in the relaxing times. I don't know, just be wise. Just be wise. I'm not trying to take it that way, but that's just how I'm feeling right now. Because I'm just starting to think about the summer, the beauty, and then...
Yeah, but summer is work. If you're talking about something that you have planned, whether it be a business, a ministry, or whatever, you know, now it's planned. Now, man, it's time to work that field. You know, it's not time to rest. We got to work the field, babe. Don't make that face.
I don't like that. I don't like
I'm just saying.
Well, maybe that's why I love spring, because I don't have to think that hard. It does take hard work to keep things maintenance. I'm talking about maintenance. It does. It is work for maintenance to keep things upkeep, to keep things groomed, and you know, yeah.
Yes, and well, yeah.
You picking a hard.
Okay, well, let's
summer does not sound easy to me anymore.
This beautiful autumn.
Love fall. Why do I love fall? I love fall because I like boots and sweaters and warmth and cozy and hot apple cider and hot chocolate and hot coffee and hot, warm, comfort, cozy fireplaces. I love...
cozy. You love
those
cozy.
Those are a few of my favorite
Sitting with
things.
the fireplace with a blanket. Then you get to wear all your fall fashion. You get to put your boots back on.
Yeah, it's just a thing. I think I shop most for shoes in the winter. That is the craziest thing.
Pimp hats.
Yeah, all of that. Love winter. Love warm, fuzzy. But I like the colors too. I like the seasons changing. And I think that's where it's for me is that I have something to look forward to in every season. What about those people who don't you have to have a glass that says it's half full. You do. You just do.
I think that's kind of why I like the Midwest, Chicago, because we do have seasons that change. I don't know if I want to stay someplace where it's hot in the winter and then it's hail in the summer. I don't know if I want that. I like the seasonable changes. I like it to get a little cool. I like to put on my leather jacket and my hats and my gloves, and, you know, I like to snuggle up when it's cold. Do you know I turn the heat down at night?
Oh, my gosh.
I make it cold. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. Anyway,
so let's get here to fall. So what does fall really mean? I think fall for me is the time of harvest. So all of what you have benefited or all of what you have planted, now you can really see the benefits of it. Whether it be life, with the business, anything, hopefully in that fall season. Now, when you're doing a business, it doesn't necessarily go with the natural seasons. So the fall of your season, you're reaping the benefits of it. I think, and I know we said we're in a season
of spring.
Did you want to talk about fall?
No, I just
Okay.
I like the season. I think I like all of them. So really, you said the season we're in, but I think I like all the seasons. And you know what? Remember, there was such a cliche in your season. You know, what season you in? And the Lord is telling me that in this season, you know what I mean? And it's like season was just like a fad word. You know what I mean? That just kind of, but I think it's come back around because I'll even shout out to my sister Rachel who said, embracing every season, grace to embrace every season.
Grace to embrace.
And I think
there's purpose for each.
There's purpose for each.
Even when we leave fall, because you reap the harvest. So if we just look at us, so you had your salon business for over 30 years. I worked where I worked.
That's a long time, Wes.
It is. For over 30 years. I worked when I was young. Man, I worked a lot over. You know what? That's funny because we were at some really good family, and my niece was telling me, she's like, "Wow, Uncle Wes, this is the most that I've seen you." Even when I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Well, even when I would come over the house all the time, it's like you weren't there a lot. You were either working, then when you got home from work, you would rest and go to your room, and That was that. And I remember I was like, yeah, I did work a lot.
You did.
In the time that I was home, and were intentional about doing things. But I was young, and my grandfather said, work hard while you're young so you can rest in your older age. And for me, that winter is like your older age because you've worked all those years and you stacked up the money. You got credit union savings, your deferred comp, and then you got your pension. For me, I got a pension. Thank God for a pension. So I did all that. So now we're sitting back in the winter part of our life, even though we're set it's spring because we kicked off our entrepreneur businesses. But it's the winter part for that season of our life. And now we're just benefiting. So now you just have the salon, and with you and Ebony, you're not working there, but the salon's taking care of itself. So now every month I get a check coming in, plus some of the money that I saved up. We've invested some of it, paid some mega stuff off. That's the winter part. So now you get to enjoy all the things that you've planted. So winter to me is not a negative season or a bad season just because it's cold, but it's really almost like a season of rest. Because if you look at farmers, they rest in the winter. They're not out there in the fields.
That's true.
But when they have to be in the spring and the fall and the summer, they're humping from sun up to sundown. But now the winter, you're resting.
Well, you know what? Now, so I'm going to put a spin on it a little bit because as you were talking, it reminded me of somebody who was saying that the winter season is a dark season. And I know we talked about it a little bit where if the times change and then the daylight savings, which I know you said they need to get rid of. But I mention that because sometimes people do look at the winter season as a tough season, and although, even this past winter, I prayed for that winter snowstorm we had. I was like, please.
But why, though?
Because I felt like it made everything slow down. I feel like people can't drive as fast. I feel like sometimes the schools are shut down or the jobs.
Where you think all the ripping and running that you thought you had to do, now it's just on pause.
Exactly.
We're going to stay in the house, stay safe.
Now, mind you, hospitals and sick people, I understand that dynamic. But I do feel like, that's why I don't want to say I love the pandemic, because a lot of people were lost their lives and through illness or whatever. But I did love the fact that everybody had to pay attention to protect themselves and to slow down and be indoors to say, hey, and so many people say, in that season of that pandemic, people realized what was most important. And let me tell you why, Wes. Because that next season when we got back into I didn't see any clients anymore. I'm just saying I went from 100% to 25% because people didn't see the value in, I don't need to spend how much money I was spending doing hair anymore. Going to get my hair done because I'm working from home.
They learn to do their own hair.
They learn to do their hair, color. Protective styles. All of that. I understand it to a certain degree, but I think that was the end for me because I realized that I didn't have the capacity. And I think God was kind of talking to me anyway, saying your season of this is over. But I realized that when that happens, you have to pay attention. I think we talked about that. I don't remember where we talked about it. But it's like you have to pay attention when a season is over. Don't stay in that season too long and trying to force a square into a circle or a circle into a square. Because why? It's not going to fit. And you'll be damaging something or someone by staying too long.
And that's the truth, because if you've planted stuff over the summer and when the harvest time comes and you don't go and pick it and uproot it and stuff, it's going to wither away.
Or the little pestilence, rabbits, and they'll come eat it up. They'll eat up your goods.
Well, they try to do that anyway.
Right. But, so I just want to say that, if people listen to us, I think I've made some unwise choices in different seasons. I've stayed too long in different seasons, but also preparing for the season. Like the Bible says about the ant, they prepare for the winter. They store up the food. And I can't say I've done that very well, which is probably why I'm still working. But you know what? What I'm doing has purpose. So,
why do you say you haven't done that well?
Because I'm relying on your pension.
Yeah, but I think that was most because I saved more money and took care of all the medical and all of those things, even though what I took home may not have been as great as what you brought home. But that was our way of benefiting. I paid all your taxes all
That's
those
true.
years.
That's true.
So
That's
everything you brought in was cash, and it paid for all the schooling, the kids, the food, the groceries.
That's true.
It paid for a whole lot.
That's true.
So I was able to be the store. So we worked together. So I wouldn't say you just.
Well, I appreciate that.
Even though you did try to, a couple of times you started your
My
your
retirement
fund, but then stuff comes up.
Yeah, and so I don't
I
mind
got you,
working.
babe.
I don't mind working no either. Thank you. I
got you, babe.
appreciate you. I know you got me because I never could have made it.
Here we go. let me ask this. So just in your entire life, I guess. Just go to the whole life.
My whole life.
Your whole life. Yes, your whole life. What do you think the worst season of your life was? But not seasons as in summer, spring, fall, winter, but just that season. What do you think was the worst?
Me personally, or just family
You.
in general?
It could however it connects to whatever. From childhood, grammar school, high school, adulthood,
The worst season of my life was losing my nephew.
which was very recent. Fix your face. Fix your face. Come on now. That was a very different and tough season. I think,
And it still is. Even though it's not.
I don't think we're out of that season. We're definitely not out of that season. I mean, you hear about these things and you see them happening to other people. Oh, and you feel really bad and you pray for them, but until it hits your doorstep, boy, that's a whole nother level. But I think it inspired and encouraged, and it led us to do a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
So we're not going to just let it happen without purpose.
Right. That part. Okay, I'm getting my tears together. But I do think. Okay, maybe you should talk some more.
Okay, I'll talk some more. I'll talk about my worst season, which was kind of it was actually in my adulthood. It wasn't childhood. I didn't have a bad childhood, but in my adulthood, I think my worst for me the winter not the winter season, just the worst season was when I got promoted to the senior manager level and was responsible, for my whole shop, because I worked maintenance. I was a maintenance manager. So then now I'm the senior manager over the whole shop, or a couple of shops, and the bosses that I had, I'm like, what is wrong with these people?
Yeah.
I mean, they were, I don't know what they were trying to prove or do. Do you know my boss? And I say she because she's a she. She said, "You are married to me," and this came out of my mouth. And I'm so not exaggerating or making up stuff, that if something is going on, birthday parties, graduations, or whatever, you need to just get you a stand-in, because if we need you here, you need to be here. So basically, your regular life, you just get you a stand-in.
You said
She said, when you all are, and that wasn't just her, when y'all are in the shower, you need to have somebody be able to answer your phone, because when we dial it, we need somebody to answer it. Do you know I got suspended for 5 days because I didn't answer my phone quick enough? Which sounds crazy, right? So I know most people think, well, maybe it was the next day or a couple hours. It was 20 minutes later.
I thought they had tried to give you your money back or something.
No, they didn't try nothing. I still have that right up. I just looked at it the other day, the ridiculousness of the things that they put on here, excuses, because, they tried to fluff it up and add all this other stuff on there. But it literally said the first thing was, did not answer or respond to my phone, like it was a BlackBerry back then, in a timely manner. It was literally 20 minutes later, because the big boss had sent out a text or an email, and he wanted to know what was going on, because we had a whole lot of defects, and we were trying to get them all fixed. And the same form of communication that they wrote me up for not responding was the exact same form of communication that I sent them the night before, telling them that the railroad was crashing and this is what I need to do, And then they say, well, you need to call us and let us, you just can't. I'm like, so You can email me,
Yeah.
but I can't email you with the same form of communication. So anyway, my boss called me 20 minutes later. My boss under that boss, he's like, "Did you see so and so's email? How come you didn't respond?" I said, "Well, because he asked for specific things in his email, and I am literally sitting here typing out and giving him the information right now." And it was literally 20 minutes later. He said, "Well, you need to respond." I said, "Okay." So I stopped what I was doing, sent him an email, says, 10-4, I will get your information shortly. Stand by. And then 10 minutes later, after I got all his information, I sent it to him. That's crazy. But it was just very stressful through that whole time. It's like, I didn't work this hard and get this far in my career to be just harassed and attempted to be bullied by. And God took care of us because those bosses, they got booted out. One retired and the other one got fired. And guess who they put into place? The majority of us who were getting harassed and bullied, we all got promoted up and ran the railroad by the same boss. You know, so it was crazy. But
that was a very, very, very hard season for me because I was not used to you being who you were in that season. That's the best way I could put it. And for one point, you called me selfish, but I didn't know I was being selfish. I just think that I didn't understand the nature of what you were dealing with. And it's not like you are ever in any season where you're just going to just share your whole heart. You know what I mean? In terms of like, you may have a conversation,
well, you know,
but you're not a complainer.
Work is work, number one.
You already been saying that for 30-some years. Work is work. Hey,
Wes,
how was work? Work was work. Boom. Done. Boom. But I'll say this, that was a learning season for me. I had to learn, you know, what you were saying without you saying it. And then sometimes I had to learn what you were saying when you said it very abruptly in your managerial tones. But I do realize that I thank God for that season because I think, I don't know, do you feel like it made you stronger? What did you think? I mean, it was hard, but...
So, and I say this even to the managers and the ones that work with me and the ones that work alongside of me. I was like, everything that I went through, the whole harassment and the whole, you need to have this, we need to have that, I took the meat, chewed the meat, and I spit out the bones. Because a lot of things they were saying were good things. And they were teaching good ethics and things like that. They weren't wrong in what they were saying. It was their delivery and the unnecessary things that they were expecting and the harassment. Like, you know, I'm going to tell you. So and this is every meeting that we would have with the upper management. So your way of encouraging us to work hard is to threaten us with firing us every meeting. And that was the way they opened up every meeting. All of you guys can be replaced. All of y'all. It's like, well, really that's not true, but you can keep saying that. And if you think that's encouraging me to work harder, it's not. And if they were still there, I would have retired 8 years ago as opposed to a couple of years ago. Because I almost quit. Remember that day I almost quit?
I do remember.
I was like, I'm done with this. I think Jeff called me. He was like, Wes, slow down. He said, I know you upset and going through some stuff, but bring it back.
Your uncle?
No, your cousin. I guess you had called him. So then he called me up right then, because I guess I had called you, and I was through that day. It was in the evening. I was through that day. Man. But he called me and took me back off the ledge, because I was like,
shout out to Jeff. I didn't know Jeff.
I can go get a job in Metro right now. I ain't got to deal with this.
Yeah. Wow. Well, speaking of the hard seasons, I think the biggest thing is that training others, testifying about what you've gone through like we're doing now, even though it hurts, because talking about the hardest season, what would you do different? What would you do different? And so I'll speak to mine first. What I would do different is what I'm doing different. I amped up my prayer life. I check on people often, which I was doing anyway, and then I'm very intentional about my the next generation. I don't want to say I can't fix a grown person, but what I can do is be intentional about paying attention to the next generations, the grandchildren, the children, and pray for them intentionally. And sometimes you take things for granted in seasons. You feel like, you know, everything's good or it'll get better, but it does not always mean that. So your intentionality about every season is, I mean, we don't get breaks. That's what I feel. You can't get a break in this life for prayer. You can't get in a break in this life for encouraging someone or checking in on people. You can't get a break. You just can't catch a break. And it doesn't mean it should be hard, but sometimes it is work because some people don't give a.
True.
What would you do different?
I don't know if I would do anything different as much as my response to it. And another boss told me this too, and he was the vice president. He was like, don't sweat this because tomorrow it could be different. He says they will not be there forever. He's like, you'll outlast it. They'll be gone. It'll be a new set of bosses. Because, we work very political when they promote them. And sure enough, they were gone. It's a new set of bosses. Didn't know I was going to be one of them, but it's a new set of people. Didn't know that one of my good friends was going to be my boss, but I was good with that. And we worked hard for him. So go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say something about working with people that are your friends. You have a good relationship when you can work with a friend.
You know what? If your friend is your boss and you're not giving 110% at that job, then he's not really your friend. And that's the way we looked at it because my job when I was at work is to make him look great. So whatever you need, I'm going to try my best to make that happen. That's so
good, Wes. Yes.
And if that's not the way you treat, if you're taking advantage of somebody, your boss, just because they're your friend and calling in and calling off and things like that, I'd question your friendship at that point.
Yeah, and you really should never put your boss or a friend in a position to make them look bad.
Or to make them have to make a decision and write you up or something.
That is the worst. And I that might be, I don't like firing people. That is a real hard thing for me.
I don't think it, well,
I don't want to say fire, but even letting people go and saying, hey, I believe that your season is up here and I don't want you to stay too long, so I'm going to help you.
Yeah.
So anyway, those are some hard, tough times, but I thank God for them, and I don't want to see any more. Doesn't mean we won't, but Lord, equip my heart.
But and like I was saying before, you learn from those seasons. So everything that I went through and every tough day when I was out there, even just as an entry-level manager, and I was on the weekends by myself running the whole major line of railroad or trying to get these trains fixed. I remember the first couple of really hard days, I was like, hey, we got X amount of defects. What do you need me to do here? And they was like, well, how about you figure it out, then you call us up back and tell us. I'm like, the reason I called you was because I didn't know what to do. So I learned to figure it out, and then it got to the point where I would set everything up and have it all worked out. Then I would call them or send them an email, hey, we got this. This is what I'm going to do. This is what we're going to set up for the next shift. This is what we're going to set up for the midnight shift. And they would say 10-4. And they went from calling every weekend to not calling at all.
Wow.
But I learned, and I didn't like my bosses then either, or at least one of them. But I'm so appreciative of him because him being hard on me and making me figure it out made me a better manager and a better boss,
Seasons.
Anyway.
Seasons, reasons, and lifetimes.
And I'm so glad I'm done with that season.
I
was able to give that phone back and not have to worry. You remember I heard a ringtone that was like my work ringtone. And what did he call it when you get PS? What did he call it?
PTSD.
I promise you I had it.
Post-traumatic syndrome.
I was like, oh my God. And I could feel my whole countenance changing just by hearing that ringtone. Then I had to snap out and was like, wait a minute, I'm not working. That's not my phone.
So, lessons learned are whatever season you're in, take the messages out of them, learn from them, and then teach somebody else as well, and talk about what you've been through. And really just, amp up your prayer life ahead of time. That's all I'm going to say. So.
Because the seasons are coming.
They definitely coming. And guess what's coming? What's coming, Wes?
Jesus. So let me, for us folks in the Midwest, this season right here, for us folks in the Midwest, Chicago, and especially where we used to live, and I'm going to talk about that. This year, we're going to have, and just by the words that they described it, and they said a mega cicada broods are emerging in 2024. So if any of you remember, I think it was 2017 and 2000 some other year.
It was earlier on because my kids were still in high school.
It was 2007 and 2011, I think, something like that. Anyway, there were two emergence of cicadas, and they call them broods.
I'm getting chills
and it was like
all over my
broods
body.
9, and were not just millions, billions of cicadas who have been living underground for the past 17 years decide to emerge, find a mate, lay some eggs, and then they die. So during that time, which usually is from April, and it's usually done by like July, we will be invaded by not one brood, but two emerging broods, which is a rare occasion. It hasn't happened since like 1803, over 200 some years ago. And that's the last time that both two broods came up at the same time, because there's a 13-year brood and there's a 17-year brood. And both of them are emerging at the same time this summer in the Midwest. So if you live in the Midwest, get ready. Now, these two broods, they normally kind of stay.
I don't really like you saying the word brood.
I know that is a terrible.
I don't like you talking about it. Period.
Emerging broods. That's a terrible thing.
Okay, so let's just
wait. Let me finish this though. I just want to. So I'm going to talk about the cicadas because I want people to know. One, they don't bite. They're harmless to us. They don't have anything, but they can cut you because they do have little scissors or whatever because they have to cut the branches to lay their eggs. So I wouldn't exactly just pick them up by hand, even though people do if you handle them.
Wes.
But there'll be billions of them. Some people say trillions.
Wes, it's okay.
And where the borderline is in further southern Illinois, they're going to have an emergence of both.
Okay.
That is just.
Okay, the reason I don't like cicadas.
But check it out, babe. Where we live now, it's not as many old trees. They like to be on the old oak trees. So I don't know if it's going to be as many.
Robin ribbon round
but those
the
folks
old
for those of you in Chicago and the south suburbs, Flossmoor, Olympia Fields, where we used to live, and you had those 60, 80, 100-year oak trees, man, you guys better get ready, boy, because they're going to be all over. Why you don't like cicadas? Man, tell them. I remember why you don't like them now. Tell us why. Neesha.
Oh.
Tell us why.
Because it was one on my neck during that cicada season in 2007. I kept saying, Wes, I hear a cicada.
That's what you did. You came in the house, you're like, you hear a cicada?
I hear a cicada. And it was sitting right on my neck. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so I hate them. I feel like it reminds me of the Bible when they said pestilence. It reminds me that the cicadas must be an example of a pestilence, an infestation.
True.
Like
is there a purpose? Is there
Asian
a purpose
beetles
for cicadas?
too. I don't know, but we can eat a beetle. Come on.
There's a little.
What is it?
There's a little reason for it.
Okay, tell me.
I think they keep balance. All right, so
history.
Just geeking out. So when these cicadas come up, all the birds and other things that would eat other worms and things and caterpillars that actually kind of destroy trees and plants, they don't eat those. They're just eating cicadas because there's a full feast of them. So they're just eating those. So the trees actually, and plus they're planting in the trees. So the trees actually kind of take a 2-year hiatus. For the next 2 years, they don't bloom as much. Then on that third year, they're back into the normal swing of things, especially trees with acorns. You know, acorns don't come every year. They come every other year.
No, Wes, I don't know.
Whatever. So I think somehow there's a balance in nature, in God's infinite wisdom.
He knew what he was doing.
He plans.
So weird.
So I don't know what
Lord,
the purpose.
Lord, why'd you make cicadas?
I don't know why the purpose
say,
of a
why,
million cicadas
Jesus?
are coming this year. I don't know that purpose.
Okay, we don't have to keep saying that. But do you have something else?
So I don't know how people. There will be no open windows.
Stringfellow. Okay.
Do you know how loud these things are? You remember?
Stringfellow.
All right, let's move on. But you know what? How about this?
How about it? Come on, bring it.
Since you bought these delicious
Crickets.
we're gonna start this fight out right.
This is how I feel.
You gonna chew them up?
Yes.
I'm not eating.
Okay. Yes, you are. We both gonna eat one.
I'm not eating a bug.
Come on, let's do it.
I don't care if it is salt and vinegar flavored cricket. Who would?
Oh, and it smells like salt and vinegar. So let me just tell you all, we went to Africa. No, we weren't. We were in South Carolina. We were in South Carolina.
Come on, give me that cricket.
You gonna put some hot sauce?
Give it to me. Anything,
Look at that
everything
cricket.
tastes good with hot sauce.
So you guys, we're gonna just test it out. So I'm gonna eat this cricket. I see his eyeballs and everything.
You just gonna?
I am
you're
having
not gonna
second
bite
thoughts.
You're not gonna bite it?
I'm just gonna chew it. You ready?
No, I'm not. I would never be ready enough. And you better not say it was delicious.
It's not bad, actually. I could probably eat another one. These crickets.
Well, that's your favorite flavor. Salt and vinegar.
Wow, y'all. That's a whole thing. People really do eat bugs. You know, I watch those little videos.
Well, you can eat cicadas.
Third world
They
countries.
actually are full of protein.
I won't
if you're
be
ever in
eating-
the wild. What, who ate crickets in the Bible?
Come on.
Was it John the Baptist?
The flavor kind of lingers, though. You gonna eat one?
You know, we didn't bring no water.
Come on.
Should have brought some water.
You should eat them. It's not so bad.
Try to find the smallest
You know,
one.
it tastes like corn nuts or something. And you like those.
Whatever. These are just grossing me out holding it.
You want some hot sauce?
You know, I'm not a bug person. If there are some scary movies that are out there that I do not watch, and it's the ones about bugs, spiders.
The little legs and everything. Go ahead. Enjoy. Scrumptious. Don't put no hot sauce on it. Come on, you can do it.
He's looking at me.
He is.
He's looking at me.
Go.
But I bet your sister Shauna would not eat this. She don't eat anything with eyeballs looking at her.
Come
All
on,
right,
Wes.
Here we go.
It's not bad.
It's not bad if you close your eyes and don't look at it and nobody tells you what it is.
Right. You'd probably be like, okay, so we
So
should
next
save
time
these.
you're going to get you some chocolate-covered crickets?
Come on. It's not so bad. I think the salt and vinegar helps me out a little bit.
No, it helped out a great
And some
deal.
of these are a little bigger than the other ones. But anyway, everybody, try you some crickets. Get you some of the salt and vinegar. They only 4.3 calories. Let's add a question of the day. Come on.
Come on, let's get to this.
Let's figure out what we're going to do.
From the clear jar.
Here we go. I'm just going to pull one. Okay. Here we go. That's not a good one. Because I won't remember. Maybe you'll remember.
Okay.
You ready?
Go
What's
for
the biggest laugh we've shared?
I think, I don't know. Because we laugh all the time at so much stuff.
We do.
But I think, and I know I'm going to embarrass you by saying this. Remember I don't know where we were, but we were at a hotel. And we were throwing down on the edge of that bed.
What's the Stringfellow?
I'm just saying, I told you it's going to embarrass you. And
I don't want to talk about it
bed
anymore.
flipped up because it was, I don't know if it
Kids
was
are gonna
sticking
have a
out too
fit.
much.
Our kids
But the
gonna-
bed flipped up. And you never even missed a beat. You thought that, you said, dude, this dude is killing it. You didn't even notice. I was like, yeah. I said, no, babe, the bed was falling.
Oh, to be young.
And we laughed about that so hard.
How do you remember that? That was terrible. But it's the truth. Oh, God. We still have fun. But not that much fun because we old.
We ain't broke no beds lately.
No. Come on here, read your question.
You didn't answer your part.
Oh, that was it. That was it.
Okay.
That was it.
So, what would you
No,
like?
I got one.
Go ahead. You got a different one? Go ahead.
Our middle child took a picture of a homeless man downtown Chicago and
Laying on the
did a
bench.
selfie. And to this day, that picture, every time it comes up, I'm like, that was so disrespectful. But it's so funny because it's like she was striking up, his belly was out. And so, anyway, that was funny to me. It's not one of the biggest, but it is a big laugh. Okay, go ahead.
Here's a question. What would you like old age to look like?
Sitting on the side of a beach.
Beach? I want to see your wrinkly tail on the beach. Just kidding.
Sitting on the side of the beach, drinking some pina coladas and just enjoying life and the water, getting in the water when I want, coming out when I want. I mean, I just love relaxation because I don't get it much. What about you?
You know, when I think of just old age looking good, I think of your grandfather, Best.
Jimmy.
Old Jimmy.
Grandpa Jimmy James
That's
E.
what
Best.
because
Shout out to Grandpa.
we would come over his house and he'd have his Hugh Hefner robe on with his long cigarette holder on there. And every once in a while, he would go out and get in his white Seville Cadillac with the plush velvet seats. He was just a cool dude.
He was, and he would make us fresh donuts, plop the donuts in the deep fryer. His house smelled like garlic because he was boiled garlic every day.
Then in the basement,
I like that.
he had the old stereo system with the reel-to-reel tape deck on there, and probably had a picture on the wall that none of y'all.
So you want to go
at.
back into the retro age?
No, I just want to look that good when I'm older. I don't want to be feeble and broke down, and
But you said we are.
I don't want to
older.
have any diseases, no Parkinson's,
In
no,
Jesus' name, in Jesus' name.
none of those things is going to be debilitating or where people have to take care of me. Because Grandpa Best took care of himself to the end.
He did.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's what I want old age to look like. Of course, it'd be nice to have some nice vacation properties and vacationing all the time and on the beach. But more than that, I want to be healthy like that. You know, so.
Well, this is our season of healthy, and so we have to do all we can, right? It's been nice
It's the
talking
season
to you
of
about
healthy?
this season. Even
Okay.
though you kind of embarrassed me, but that's all right.
You asked the question.
Till the next season of our next episode of Heartstrings, where we're fine-tuning the seasons of life.
So please share and please like.
And please
Whatever
subscribe.
platform you're watching or listening to.
Bye, y'all. Bring it to me. Bye, y'all.
I'm about to eat some more of these sprinkles.
No.
Let's get out. With the hot sauce.